is what my setup would look like most of the time that I was working. For most of the time I've been writing code. I would have my terminal open with my dev server and some tab open for Git. I would have my IDE open with a workspace setup for the thing that I'm working on. And I have my browser open with one tab in localhost and one tab in GitHub. So here's a rough idea of what my setup used to look like. I had my terminal where I have my dev server here, and I have this empty one that's for Git stuff generally. So like TIG to see my Git history, all the usual stuff. Then I have my browser, which has the dev environment, and usually I have GitHub up for the same thing. So here's the GitHub repo for the same project. And then I have my editor where I'm actually writing code. In this case, I'm writing all my code in Markdown files. But this is roughly what my setup would look like the majority of the time I was developing. And honestly, it's not too bad. If I do the three figures up, you can see here are the surfaces that are split across this piece of work. When I'm working on this project, I have one editor, one browser, one terminal with two tabs. All fine and sensical. None of this is that bad right now. But what happens if I'm working on two things at once? Okay, let's try it. Maybe we do another set of tabs in here. Okay, but which one am I in at any given time? That's annoying. I'm a big tmux guy, so I used to set up tmux with different workspaces for the different projects. But then if I wanted two different things, like maybe I want to break this Git terminal or this dev terminal out to full screen, does that get a new tab? Maybe tabs aren't the right way to do this. Maybe I break this up into different windows for each project. Maybe this one will be for T3 chat, and this window will be for LAN. Okay, what about the browser though? Do we make new browser windows for the different projects, or do I make different tabs? How do I get to the right GitHub tab? How do I manage the back and forth between all of this? And then when I have two different projects in my editor, how do I know I'm in the right one? I've seen everything from people color coding their VS Code and cursor instances to doing crazy stuff with their workspaces on their computer. And I'm here to tell you none of that works. Here's a fun thing. Let's just try moving things to a new desktop. Here's desktop 3. I'll move this terminal over. We'll manually open up VS Code here with the code command. Now I have those two. Let's do the browser. Command tab to heal. Oh, it just moved me to the wrong place. I'll go back over, Command N. Now it's making a terminal. How do I get a new browser here? Great question. You have to go down to your dock, which I never use, right click, new window. Cool, kind of works. What's even more fun is if you do this and you go to a tab where something else was open. So I'm going to Command Tab to Helium from Workspace 3, where there is no browser in Workspace 3. And it switches to Workspace 2 and switches back to this focus. And even funnier, and I can't replicate it now, sometimes when I do this, it will go to the other window and it will flicker between two different windows back and forth a few times before it settles. On top of that, the actual navigation here is so slow. The three-finger scroll to switch between things is off. Oh, did you see the flicker there where it switched from Helium back to the terminal just when I switched workspaces? Oh, I did it again there where I switched to LAN here. So I'm going to Command Tab to Helium. Right now, before I do that, Desktop 1 is a terminal, Desktop 2 is a browser. Desktop 3 only has terminal and editor. So Terminal 3, Command Tabbing to Helium. It did this right. Watch out when I go back to 1. Are you kidding me?